What is good, people? We are home. We're home from 5 days at Center Parcs, and I managed to lose about £3 while we were away. To be honest, some of that not that surprising. I'm just trying to go down the stairs without dropping everything. Some of that not that surprising. Obviously, not having like the training stimulus there. There's going to be a lot of water, a lot of glycogen that's going to have disappeared. When we stayed relatively active, and the diet was pretty much on point. We had most of the time we just ate at home. I say at home, like at the little chalet thing, just because there were pretty decent cooking facilities. And it's also a little bit trickier, obviously, when we've got Louis. It's not like we can go out and about loads. Just trying to make sure that he's there, he's sorted. Once he's gone down to bed, then we can cook and eat. So, but no, it was a really nice few days away. Weather wasn't the best. It was a little bit wet, a little bit drizzly. We had some nice spells in there, so we tried to make the most of them. I'll try and put up a few like pics and videos and stuff as I'm talking through this. Just we had Louis' first experience on the back of a bike, which was nice. So Lara and I sort of had shared turns on the bike, and then Louis was in like one of those little trailer things, which was really cool. Went swimming, had a couple of days out. Generally enjoyed being in nature, to be honest. Like it was, in the middle of a forest. The little chalets, like, you looked out every angle. It was just trees everywhere. It was nice. We'll definitely be back. I think Louis probably a little bit young for a lot of it. Like most of the stuff for kids, you probably needed to be more like, I'd probably say you needed to be more like 4+. And he's not long turned 1, so there wasn't masses that he could get involved in at his age. There was, like soft play and stuff that he could have a little run around in, but a lot of that, he was a little bit too young for, really, especially with and it was packed, like, lots of like older kids just legging it about, not really looking where they're going, knocking into one another. It was a little bit chaotic, but such is life. Kids don't really think about what they're doing, do they? They just absolutely crack on, and as long as they're all right themselves, who cares about anyone else? So that was interesting. We did do like build a bear, which again was a nice little experience for Lou. So he built a little penguin because he's got quite into Pingu. So he's got his little penguin, which is over here somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. His little penguin here, which he helped build, and we've got a few little videos and pictures and stuff of him helping to build that, like stuffing it full and doing all of those nice little things, which was another nice little experience. But no, overall a good week. Obviously a week where I didn't train, so I trained the Sunday before we went away, and then we went away on the Monday. Didn't train Monday through Saturday, and then I got back in the gym yesterday. It's Monday today when I'm recording this part. Back in the gym yesterday for legs, so feeling the effects of that leg day today for sure. But yeah, down in the weight, so I'm down about just over 1.5 pounds on average. So my average week to week from last week to this week is down 1.5 pounds. I actually came back from Center Parcs having lost about £3, so I'd managed to get to a fairly decent sort of spot, and then the nature of just being, like I say, not really training, not having that stimulus for my muscles to be particularly full. £3 down the first time I jumped back on the scale. So the difference from like Monday morning to Saturday morning, £3 down. I've seen that come up a little bit. That's probably come back up 1 pound or 2. So since I've been maybe back to eating a bit more normally, obviously been to the gym yesterday and my legs are now nice and full. Back up to sort of 172.4 today. Again, I suspect when I check in tomorrow with pictures and stuff, the feedback from Christian's largely going to be, let's just get back to it, because now the 5-day split like properly starts. I mentioned to you in last week's video or the one before that like I'd sort of given it a go in that week before we went away, just because I wanted to just try each session and see how I got on with them, and they all felt really good. But now obviously I'm looking to really sort of push those on, see how I get on with a consistent period of training 5 days a week again, and just make sure that it all fits in. Life is busy, as I've said before. And we also we got home Friday sort of late afternoon, early evening. after a little bit of a chaotic drive, because Louis, bless him, is not a very good passenger at the moment. When he's awake, he absolutely hates being stuck in the car seat. So it was a fairly stressful journey back. And then we got back to have no internet. The Wi-Fi just completely gone. I think there was a storm last week. Was it like Wednesday night or Thursday night? Might have been Wednesday night. And I think that must have done something like centrally to the, like, you know, however the central fiber system is set up. So we got back, that wasn't working, contacted the network provider, and they said we can't do anything until Monday. And then this morning, I had to sort of dash off to get Louis to the childminders, because we were told an engineer was going to come between 8 and 10. I get a call from Lara about 9:30 saying the engineer says that it's all sorted. He never actually turned up, so he must have done something like centrally with something. But it is now working again. So we had all that to deal with too, like a weekend without the internet, tethering from phones just to try and get anything done. Amazing how much you miss these things when you don't have them. But we are up and running again. We're back in the 21st century. So yeah, a weekend without internet. Imagine that. It's like being, I don't even know when the internet came in, 20, 30 years ago. I don't know. It's like being, I don't know, back in the 1970s, the 1980s without the internet. Even though I say that, we did have the internet, it was just on our phones and not like Wi-Fi connected. But anyway, we are back. We're back and ready to rumble. So yeah, I'll check in with Christian tomorrow. I'll get the pictures and stuff updated for you as well. Hopefully there'll have been various like pics and videos coming up with just to show you the fun times that we had whilst we were away. And then part 2 will follow once I've got Christian's check-in reply back tomorrow. As I say, I very much expect it to be along the lines of, let's just get stuck back in, you know, let's get back into the rhythm, get back into the routine and see where we're at next week. So there we have it. Check-in sent, reply received, pictures to follow. And I feel, I don't mind these pictures. I look a bit flat, which isn't surprising after having 6 days off training. I trained legs Sunday, but then Monday is also a day off for me from training. So yeah, these pictures do look a little bit flat, but feedback pretty much as I expected it to be. You know, like nailed the deload, nailed the time off, didn't take the piss, came back lighter, but then seen that weight creep back up again over the past few days when I've been back on it with food, when I've been back in the gym training. And very much the order of business is just, let's just get back to it. You know, let's really crack on. And like I said yesterday, it's an opportunity for me to get that 5 days a week nailed and just see how it does go. I'm toying with the idea of also the time of the day that I go. You know, there's other things to think about that go alongside that, because part of me wants to just go to the gym at like 5, 5:30 in the morning. But there are certain days where I can't do that, because the days that Lara goes into the office, she's up much earlier. I have to drop her at the station. Everything gets all a little bit manic. But the days that she's at home, the days that I then do want to go to the gym, I am considering going, you know, 5, 5:30 in the morning, getting it all done, getting home pretty much as everyone else is getting up and awake. And then we can get all the breakfast routines and stuff done, get Louis sorted. He's then out the door at the childminders for 8 o'clock. And then the rest of the day is free to make sure that everything's getting done. You know, work is there. It means that, you know, check-ins, etc. are getting done. It means that content time is there. Just trying to find time in the day, which isn't always the easiest. And, you know, it might mean sort of less like working later into the evenings, which at the moment is something that I do a little bit of. Just, you know, it's, again, once we've picked Louis up from the childminders, it's, yeah, there's just a lot to think about. So it's definitely something that I'm considering. It might slightly change the way I do things when it comes to food, because I don't necessarily want to be like absolutely wolfing down a big meal before I train. So it might be that I even just do like, you know, I might have like half of that meal before I train, get back and have half of that meal when I get back. And then, you know, the next meal would come a little bit later. All of these things just to be considered. But yeah, I'll probably also just run that by Christian as well, just to make sure that he's okay with those decisions. I mean, ultimately, the most important thing is getting all of the calories and macros in for the day. Food timings are slightly less important. I mean, you know, when you're sort of taking it a bit more seriously, like I do, when all of the little 1% things matter, timing does play a role. But the key is just going to be to get that food in. So if that does mean that timings slightly, shift, and I just do things a different way, as long as I'm still getting that food in, as I say, that's the main thing. But yeah, overall, pretty decent check-in. The deload is done. I'm ready to rock, and yeah, can't wait to see how these next few months play out.